Go.
Hello and welcome to our podcast called Biggie Cheese's History. I am Jonathan. Today joining me on the podcast is an expert on World War I history. Please welcome Dante.
Thank you for having me. I am delighted to tell you more about World War I and the period that would lead into World War II called the interwar period.
Let's go back to 1914. You have the European countries all really started to get angry with momentum building due to militarism, alliances, imperialism, and nationalism. Can you explain these main causes of World War I?
Great question. First, let us define these terms. Militarism is the desire or belief that a government should maintain a strong military presence. Alliances are union or association between governments for mutual benefit. Imperialism is the policy to extend a country's power and territory or influence. I read that backwards. Nationalism is the identification of one's nation and its interests. These four things contributed to the start of World War I. Imperialism, nationalism, militarism, and alliances. I don't know why I listed them off there like Power Rangers or something, but...
Wow, that's really interesting. It's crazy how the alliances made war become a global conflict. Can you explain what made World War I so different from other global conflicts? I want to know about warfare tactics and other interesting things.
Sure. The technological advances that led to such deadly weapons, like the machine gun and chlorine gas, Trench warfare was also used. Both opposing armies dug long trenches and bombed each other with artillery. After the bombing, one side would charge into the enemy's trench and try to take it over for themselves.
The United States did not enter the war until 1917. Can you tell us why they remained neutral for so long and why they eventually entered the war?
That is a great question, and I'm sure many Americans are interested to learn more. The United States remained neutral early in the war because most Americans at the time wanted to stay isolated. Woodrow Wilson's second election campaign was based on anti-war. However, the United States ultimately entered the war because of the German use of unrestricted warfare. Germany kept sinking civilian ships at sea, and eventually, when America looked like they were going to join Germany, when America looked like they were going to join, Germany sent a telegram to Mexico asking if they wanted to join and attack America, but it was intercepted when the Americans found it.
Fascinating. Do you know that Germany was obviously upset? I know that Germany was obviously upset with the Treaty of Versailles. Can you tell us why?
Absolutely. Germany was mad at the Treaty of Versailles because they had to give up not only the land, but also pay extreme reparations and take full responsibility for the war.
I was always so interested in World War I since it was our first global war. I also loved learning more about the lasting effects. Can you explain the lasting effects of World War I to us today?
Absolutely. There are many lasting effects. The unresolved conflicts of World War I would also lead on later to World War II. Some of the lasting effects of World War I are the return to normalcy was not easy. A flu virus struck the world and killed millions after the war. And despite these unfortunate effects, there were some positives, of course, such as an increase in industry and America becoming a world superpower.
Wow. Thank you to our guest, Dante. We enjoyed having you today.
Thanks for having me. I loved sharing my passion with you all. I'm obsessed with World War I.
I can tell. All right. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Mwah.